And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller live from the Walmart, Garrity and Franklin. Miller's Mission, clothes for kids. Stop by and see us. We'll be here tonight until 7 o'clock, of course, till Saturday at 6. Won't you help us help the Boise Rescue Mission? Donate online anytime, boiserm.org. Joining us now from the Media Research Center, our great friend, Dan Gaynor. Mr. Gaynor, good to have you back.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be back in Boise, one way or the other.
And certainly it's always wonderful that you have family here in the Treasure Valley. Would you like to wish them good morning?
Oh, absolutely. And that's to my brother and his wife and multiple kids, although we're kidnapping one of them. One of them's coming back east for a while to go to school.
Well, I see. One for east of the Great River. When we take a look at what's going on with the president now and Robert Mueller and Rudy Giuliani, your thoughts on the week that was in media, sir?
Well, the absolutely incredible thing is you look at the media and think, okay, you sided with North Korea in the sort of battle between Trump and North Korea, especially in the Olympics. You sided with the porn star and her whack job lawyer. But that wasn't enough. You had to go and side with first Hamas, which the left kind of generally sides with Hamas anyhow because they're a terrorist organization. They like that. But then you have to side with MS-13. I mean, at some point in time, you would think that the media would kind of get a clue that Trump is defeating them when they do this stuff. In fact, I saw a liberal journalist, and I can't remember who it was, unfortunately, tweet out that Trump is excellent at goading his opponents into doing things he would not do if they were thinking about it. And that's what happened.
And that's what we're seeing. You would think that the media would be smarter, but if you watch the Sunday
no,
shows...
actually, I really wouldn't.
But if you watch the Sunday shows, they just get sucked back into it.
Well, and especially if you watch CNN. CNN, there's no sanity at CNN except for Jake Tapper. And you saw it last week. Jake's in a really tough spot. He works for a network that is staffed by people who have just fully embraced being insane. And so in the midst of the MS-13 fiasco last week, where the media went from going media bias, I mean, okay, we've seen media bias for years. No, they outright lied. They just flat out made it up. If you watch the exchange, there's this really long question that talks about MS-13 and Trump responds. And then he's asked an additional little bit as part of the exchange. And 18 words before he responds, the sentence before he responds, is the word MS-13. Trump responds and says, oh, yeah, MS-13, they're animals. Anyone who has a brain in their head, which, of course, does exclude a lot of the people in the press, would see what happened there as he was talking about MS-13. So they openly lied. Some of them are still lying about it. God bless them. The media, when they go crazy, they just go crazy. And so you look at that situation and go, how could this happen? And so poor Jake Tapper, he can't call out his network because he works there. What he did is post on Twitter context. He said, well, context for President Trump's MS-13 response. And he just tweeted out the entire exchange, the text, the entire exchange. Well, that's the sort of journalistic way of saying that I work with a bunch of whack jobs. And he does. I mean, Brian Stelter, there's no more embarrassing figure representing journalism in major media today. There just isn't. I mean, he's the guy who's rekindled Dan Rather's bogus career. It's astonishing how bad CNN has fallen.
What's the impact it has on the public, if any?
Well, I mean, I think for one thing, when journalists do this, they don't realize that this isn't going to go away. They just basically gave Donald Trump and the Republican Party commercials. And so it undercuts every single story they do about Trump. Instead of taking a fairly rational approach to Donald Trump, reporting honestly that Donald Trump has put more women in positions of power than any president in the history of the United States, I think. Really prominent women the first woman director of CIA, and Kellyanne Conway, who led his campaign, and et cetera, et cetera. Instead of reporting just some of those facts or talking about how good the economy was, they could do some of that, and then criticize him some, and they would look more legitimate. But what they do is criticize him on everything, and so I think the public really tunes it out. And the danger for the press is not just their lack of credibility, but they're pushing an agenda. They're trying to get one political party elected come fall. That's what they want. Well, we're 6 months out, and Donald Trump's popularity is up, and the stuff he's doing is going well, and the economy is going well, and their bogus investigation, into Russia is not going well, and the government investigation into Trump appears to have been, I'm torn between the words criminal and treasonous. And I don't know which one, but it's clearly something you would see in a third world country. When the security apparatus of the country that's run by one political party investigates the other political party, I'm astonished. People freaked out. The people who freaked out about what happened under Nixon somehow are okay with this.
Well, I like how they're going after the president for rightfully taking a look at Robert Mueller, and we go back to Ken Starr and how well he was treated by the Clintons. We seem to forget that. Well,
and also they say, Trump can't demand that the Department of Justice reports to him. Yes, he can. This is a very scary time because powerful people in Washington not only tried to prevent Donald Trump from getting elected and investigate him and try to foil him as he started to look like he was doing well, even though they were 100% convinced that Hillary Clinton was going to win. So to some extent, they were safe in what they did. If you know that the incoming president is sleazy and protects their friends, look, the Clintons are notorious for protecting their friends and being basically scumbags. So, if they were to do that, if you anything bad you do, you figure the boss is not going to care. And that was certainly the attitude they seemed to take. Whether that's true or not, whether the Clintons would have cared or done something about it if they won, what person investigates an election that they won?
That's a good point.
Seriously. The only reason Trump's doing it is because clearly people tried to prevent him from winning.
Dan Gaynor joining us here at KIDO Talk Radio. Dan, anything else that we should be looking out for this week?
I just think the deterioration of this Mueller investigation and the expose of what's going on, what have gone on with top security people. The idea that you can spy on another political campaign. The more this comes out, and watch the media freak out about it, and then we got the impending Inspector General's report, and they clearly think that's going to go bad for them, given all the leaks. I'm astonished at how much supposed spy and investigator people leak to the press instead of telling Congress what's going on. This is not Adam Schiff for a change. This is actually like somewhere the security apparatus of our country leaks like a sieve because it's afraid of people going to jail.
Dan Gaynor, hello to the West Coast Gaynors, hello to the East Coast Gaynors. Take care of yourself, and we appreciate you, sir.
Oh, it's always fun being out there. So good to talk to you. I'll talk to you anytime you want.
Thank you, Dan.
Take care.
All right, our great friend Dan Gaynor joining us. Kevin Miller here. We are at Miller's Mission at the Nampa Walmart. Our time is 6:15. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Coming up, we'll talk to our great friend Don. We'll get to Don in a minute, but first, I don't know if you've heard this story, if you were following this on social media, but this is from the Russ Fulcher campaign. On Friday afternoon, Republican congressional nominee Russ Fulcher was driving his brother's motorcycle, headed to visit his in-laws in Melba. Fulcher encountered some loose gravel on a sharp curve on Dickman Road, where he slipped and laid the bike down. According to his family, Fulcher had been riding motorcycles since age 6, suffered broken ribs, along with minor scrapes. He was wearing a helmet, full body protection, including gloves and boots. He is expected to make a full recovery and be back on the campaign trail soon. In the meantime, the family asks well-wishers to respect their privacy. Fulcher does not look forward to breaking news about the motorcycle to his brother. There we have it, and he wants to thank St. Alphonsus staff for patching him back together, and Russ saying always wear a helmet. Now, look, I love Russ Fulcher. I think he's great, and we're probably going to disagree with our friend Don here, but why are you riding a motorcycle when you're on your way to Congress? We'll talk a little bit about that. Of course, not everybody can live the life of action and adventure and sedentary lifestyle of yours truly. But we are at the Walmart here, closed for kids. Help us help the Boise Rescue Mission. That's next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Thank you to everybody. Thanks to our friends at BathmanofIdaho.com. Todd does a great job. Appreciate Bathman of Idaho and what they do. If you're looking to get your bath remodeled, check him out today. We met him a couple years ago, and he said, Kevin Miller, we want to support what you do, and we appreciate Todd at BathmanofIdaho.com. Don joins us now, our great friend from the Boise Rescue Mission and fellow Alabama.
Roll Tide, roll.
Crimson Tide fan. So how does a man from Alabama that loves the Tide end up here in Idaho?
That's a long story, Kevin. Dad was a Methodist preacher, and when the South started to burn up with a lot of hatred in the 60s, he decided to move his family on out of there, and Mom cried all the way from Boise out to Old Freeze-Out, wondering what Dad had got us into, and then we crested the hill there, and it was all full of orchards back then, and she knew she'd come to the promised land.
Indeed. And now here you are with the Boise Rescue Mission. Tell us your story.
My story with the Boise Rescue Mission starts 3 years ago when I finally retired from truck driving because of my alcoholism and drug abuse. And I decided to give up that career before I hurt somebody, and ended up homeless in Twin Falls, Idaho, living at the Twin Falls County Jail for 6 months while they found me a program. And I told the judge I wouldn't leave till they found me a program that would work, that I thought would work for me, because I'd been in and out of recovery all my life and struggling and causing a lot of hurt along the way. So Sarah Kearney with the VA found the Boise Rescue Mission for me and brought me over here, and I was able to connect and realize that the light at the end of the tunnel was Jesus Christ. It wasn't a freight train coming at me, and I didn't have to keep running from the Lord. I just stopped, let Him catch up and show me where I needed to go. So I spent a year in the recovery program at the Boise Rescue Mission and found my second life there as staff, helping others. It's very easy to realize that when you know that this community takes care of their own. Everyone here realizes we're all in this together, and everybody's just ready to give, and they choose the Boise Rescue Mission as the venue for that giving.
Our great friend Don joining us, Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio from the Walmart in Nampa. We would love for you to stop by. What about the goodness of this community, Don? Tell us about your experience with that.
This community just keeps giving and giving and giving. This particular time here at the Walmart is geared towards the kids this year. We have so many new kids in the valley with the growth that we're having. And manning the phones at the Boise Rescue Mission, I'm coming across more and more calls from people moving into the valley wondering what our resources are for helping others. And this valley it's unbelievable what they give. Everybody knows that we're all in it together. The Boise Rescue Mission is totally, everything there is provided by the Lord and the community. No public funding coming in, a lot of private grants, companies helping out. But I believe, if this figure is correct, I believe we only get about 15% donations come from corporations.
Well,
and that means the rest are coming from private individuals, our community here.
Right. That is the amazing thing. We're not talking about governments. We're not talking about anything else. We're talking about local people making a difference. BoiseRM.org. We would love for you to donate to make a difference. when you see the kids, Don, you get a chance to work with them and see the magic. How do donations make a difference in the kids at City Light or the Home for Valley Women and Children?
Well, with the right now, I think we're averaging about 50 kids a day, with the max maybe going up to 100 for in our different children's programs. The smile on their face when a kid can totally forget worldly issues that are causing mom to cry, our dad to holler, our dad not to come home. You realize that places like the Boise Rescue Mission's kids program are needed desperately here in the Valley, and this community provides it through the Boise Rescue Mission, a children's program.
Well, Don, anything else you'd like to share with us today? Another national championship. Is it going to be Tour or is it going to be Hertz?
Well, if we double up this time, double down, we're going to win a second one?
Isn't that the magic of sports no matter what? It's just such a great unifier, but your thoughts?
My thoughts are I hope Saban doesn't leave us if we get 2 in the pot. We've had that happen up here in Idaho when we started getting on a roll. All of a sudden our coach left us. But, of course, up here in Idaho, we know they practice ball here and they play ball down in Alabama. So hopefully they run things different down there.
Thank you for ingratiating us to 98% of the listening audience, Don. Thank you. We appreciate you, and may God bless you.
Think of the kids, please. This community is all after it.
All right, our great friend Don joining us. Traffic and weather together. And Kevin Miller in the morning here. Our time is 6:28. We're at the Walmart in Nampa. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Or better yet, stop by and make a difference. If you go to KIDOTalkRadio.com, you can see the top 10 items needed for, to help these kids get through the summer at the Boise Rescue Mission. Now, here's something that's kind of a little buzzworthy. Have you ever had an issue where you're at a restaurant, you're just trying to get your food, you're just trying to do your own thing, and all of a sudden, just something doesn't go your way, whether it's fast food or thorough food or something of that nature? Well, this is what happened in a situation in upstate New York where you had somebody just really lose it over not getting a Big Mac. And, it would be great if I had put the audio up here. Let me try that again at KIDO Talk Radio.
And at a McDonald's over an order of small fries. When it took too long to get them, they say she got angry, real angry. Workers told her that she could park her car and they bring them to her, but she wasn't all that patient. She began screaming, cursing them out, even tossed a slushie at the window. Police say that she then parked her car, ran inside the restaurant and said, "I'm coming back for you," then made her way back to the drive-thru window and pulled a gun on the manager. They say she left the scene without the food. Ken Duffy, Fox News.
All over some small fries. So our public service announcement today, especially when you're driving or at McDonald's and you get the small fry instead of the medium fries, just kind of consider that a blessing. Less cholesterol, less sodium, less fat. And it really isn't a good idea to say, "I'm going to get you," and then pull the gun on people, right? Let's have a responsible gun ownership. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And joining us now, Dr. Peter Crabb from NNU and a board member of the Boise Rescue Mission. Dr. Crabb, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good morning.
So we take a look at the summer for the Boise Rescue Mission and other nonprofit charitable groups. A slow time, a tough time?
Very much so. Summertime is vacation time, right? Your family's thinking about getting out. Your family might be taking even a long, large vacation that you've saved up for a period of time. So people aren't thinking about necessarily what's going on right here in the community and those that are having trouble getting away.
You know something about economics and the economy. How is the homeless population impacted by this massive amount of growth, the influx of people coming in from everywhere, sir?
Right. So with any type of economic growth, that you're going to have issues that come along. Everybody's talking about the traffic issues, right? Oh, stay away from Eagle Road now, right? But the other issue that comes in, people move from areas where jobs are not plentiful. They come to an area like Boise where jobs, they think the situation's going to be great. And for some people, it just doesn't turn out that way. Moving can cause problems. Moving can disrupt your family. So with any type of growth, you've got issues that can hurt families and trouble that can come along with that.
Well, not to get all Bernie Sanders and socialism here, sir.
Please.
But we take a look at the transformation in housing.
Right.
Which, Dave Petzo and I talk about this, where, a few years ago, Canyon County, the median home price, the value was cut in half from $140,000 to $70,000. Ada County, similar. I just remember reading about this.
Okay.
Now the values have skyrocketed again.
Right.
So what once was a magnet, affordable housing,
right,
is pretty much gone.
Yeah, the latest data that I looked at is we're seeing the Boise area, the metropolitan statistical area here, 12% housing price moves. That's a big move, and that's going to make it more difficult for young families to get into homes. But at the same time, that there's better opportunities, there's better job opportunities. Some families are choosing not to buy a home or to put it off. We learned a lot in 2008, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
And a lot of families are saying, I'm going to have that full down payment. I'm going to be ready to take on home ownership at the right time. So you're seeing a lot more cautious, not just on the building side. Home builders aren't building as many spec homes and so forth, but you're seeing caution on the family side. They're going to save up, get that full down payment down, and buy a home in a very prudent financial way. So I'm not too worried.
But on the other hand,
okay,
I talk to people in the mortgage business. I talk to people in the home warranty business, realtors. We've got the, people flipping houses. Look, the guys that do the Boise Boys on the HG channel, they're wonderful, right, nice young men. But to me, it's very unrealistic when you're buying a home for $300,000, you put $100,000 in it, and then you get another $80,000 in profit. That's a dangerous cycle, is it not? I mean,
right,
not just for that. That's just the example.
Right. And when you see people leaving regular jobs and say, I'm going to go into house flipping, and so you start to think, that's a market top time. You start to wonder whether they're taking on too much risk going on. But at the same time, we have the forces. With the price moves going up here in the valley, you still have the economic forces coming in that are going to limit that, if you would. So the builders know that the inventory of homes is low right now, so they're going to build. And they know people are seeing these higher prices, they're going to slow down the buying. So prices work. Prices tell people when to buy and what to buy, and it slows things down. So,
yeah, but Dr. Crabb, it's amazing to me that 6 years ago we had empty cul-de-sacs and home values cut in half. Now they've doubled or tripled, and I'm thinking, is this just nothing more than perception?
Well, no, it's the market working.
Okay.
The unfortunate thing is we still do have what I would consider too much government involvement in the housing market. There still is too much subsidies and favoritism to housing for people. The tax effects are still there, and the tax subsidies for housing and so forth. In any industry that you have that much government involvement, you're going to have excess capacity, and you're going to mess up and push and cause volatility in prices and the like. And so that's still the issue. What we didn't learn from 2008 is that we should not be subsidizing housing as much as we do.
Yeah, tell that to the realtor lobby.
Exactly. There's a lot of interest in keeping those subsidies around.
Indeed. Dr. Peter Crabb joining us from NNU, board member of the Boise Rescue Mission. I don't know if this is a sociological question, but all these folks moving in from California.
Yes.
You have California resentment. You have people coming in, and they've been doing it for years, the all-cash offers.
Right.
But
someone last night did just that. Yeah. I just met someone from California last night, came in, cash offer in Caldwell, just helping push those housing prices that we're just talking about.
Right. So, is that just the free market at work, and the folks that have lived in Idaho that are, get pre-approved with the mortgage and everything else? Sorry, you're out of luck. That's just market forces.
Well, unfortunately, it's not just market forces. Part of the reason they're leaving California and other high-tax states is the government intervention in those markets that have messed it up so bad there. So there are these spillover effects. And there the issue becomes the federal government moves and the other state government moves that are causing these people to say, I can't live in that heavily regulated environment. My business doesn't do well. I'm sick of paying these higher marginal tax rates. I'm going to move to a more comfortable economically, a more comfortable area of the country.
Right, but then you have the people here that can't get homes, and then you have that level of frustration, or you have the obnoxious realtors that are sending you things in the mail, that are putting the door hangers on. I don't know which is more obnoxious, the politicians with their signs or the realtors urging you to sell their home because they're working for you. Of course, there's nowhere to move to.
Right. Again, that's the inventory of homes situation that we are seeing. And it is an unfortunate aspect, but I think that people are voting with their feet in California and other states, and I think that'll have an effect. There's an old adage, I think it was Margaret Thatcher that said it. Sooner or later, you run out of other people's money. And that seems to be what's happening in California.
The problem here, and one more question here, then we're going to go back to, obviously, something near and dear to our hearts, the Boise Rescue Mission. But a final thought. But what about our little state as far as our infrastructure? Look, many years ago, not even a couple years ago, Star, Idaho was an outpost.
Right.
Middleton was supposed to be in 06, 07, the new Meridian. Now that seems to be happening. Places where you could, get more for your money, Nampa, Caldwell, Kuna, now are seeing the price inflation that has hit Boise and Meridian for years.
Yeah, so it is an issue. Growth, particularly the rapid growth that we're seeing, is difficult to handle. But you got to admit, it's a good problem to have. We'd rather have these issues than businesses leaving and the jobs leaving and so forth. So,
but as far as government, and pardon the interruption.
No, you're good.
Pardon the interruption, but the government and infrastructure, the roads, the bridges, the schools, can't keep up with this.
Yeah, and that's where, again, we're hitting the pressure, so I do expect it to slow down. And the people that we were just talking that are coming from other states, that too will slow down because of these same issues that we're talking about. So I am hopeful that, as you said earlier, these market forces at work, that they work over time. They tell us, these price signals tell us to slow down. And they tell people, well, I can't just flood into this area. And so I'm hopeful that these price forces that we're talking about will slow things down and make them better. What I don't want to see is the change in the jobs. So what's been coming with all this growth is new businesses and new jobs, and I'm excited about those new opportunities. There's still a great entrepreneurial spirit in this valley.
I'm with you. I'm worried about the finite resources, though.
Yeah.
Is that a legitimate concern, or is that just me being crazy?
I think it's a legitimate concern, but I think you should be hopeful because those rising prices are signals to us to slow down.
Dr. Peter Crabb joining us here from NNU, board member of the Boise Rescue Mission. So, as the economy turns, what does that mean for the rescue mission? Yeah,
so often, as we were talking about with the summer, when the summer comes around, people don't think about the needs in the community as much. When the economy's doing well, people don't think about the needs in the community as much. They think, oh, my job's doing well, my business is going well, everybody's life must be going well. And that's just not life. There are a lot of people, even during a good, growing economy, that run into issues. And homelessness today, Rev always talks about this. Homelessness today has changed. It's different issues. It's different problems that people run into. And so those issues those problems are still with us, and the needs are still there. And so I hope people will still keep in mind that there's a lot of good going on down at the river and at the lighthouse in Nampa, and there's people with real needs there that need real help.
Well, and this is something that isn't covered a lot, but Dr. Crabb, I'm sure you study it. The folks at the Rescue Mission work with it. The working poor. You know, we have a labor shortage, but it's not like a labor shortage for $60,000 or $70,000 a year jobs.
Right. So this is people that don't have the highest level of work skills, low-skilled workers, as we tend to refer to them. And as you mentioned, the working poor generally have trouble on the margin. So one little thing that goes wrong, the car failure or the other housing issue goes wrong, can really set them off track. And that's where the Boise Rescue Mission comes in, and is a great resource and a great help for all these people.
Well, and that idea of getting people off living paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
Finally, back to just the overall, we've just had this historic primary election. Democratic turnout up 175%. Republican turnout, I think, locally around up 50%. The end of Governor Otter. 12 years. We lovingly refer to him as the Hulk Hogan of Idaho politics. Brad Little, Paulette Jordan. What does that mean for the future of the state when you have one political leader with a lot of folks in the legislature that have guided us through the recession into economic prosperity, now a changing of the guard? Does that mean anything economically?
Hopefully it means don't mess it up.
That seems to be the theme of our conversation today, yeah.
I think the state legislature and the governor's office, Brad Little, as he moves into this office, is going to be thinking about the same things that we're just talking about. The growth here has been tremendous, and it's causing these growing pains, as we like to refer to it. But I'm always confident in the people. I'm always confident, particularly in the people of this valley. We work things out, and we don't need a lot of planning from some central location. And we can find ways, and these price signals that I'm talking about tell people where to put their resources and how to adjust. And so hopefully, again, we don't see new policies or anything to mess that up.
Your thoughts to people listening now at 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio, to urge them either to donate online, boiserm.org, that's boiserm.org, or to stop by and see us.
Yeah, please come on down. As we were talking about, the summer needs are great, and there's a lot of kids that you can help right now that are in the program or coming to the summer programs, and it's easy to help out. My wife and I, we're part of the Bread of Life program that you can find out about at the website, and it makes it convenient for us, but also encourages us to stay involved with the program. And I hope everyone will take a look at that website and see all the good things that Boise Rescue Mission is doing.
Dr. Crabb, thank you, sir.
Good to be with you. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning. You're listening to Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. KIDO Talk Radio to Pro-Life and Tom Munns. Please hang on. We will get to y'all in a minute. Wishing Russ Fulcher a speedy recovery. Clothes for Kids continues here at the Walmart in Nampa. We will take your phone calls. We'll hear more from our friends from the Boise Rescue Mission, but please consider giving. Let's go to traffic and weather together. And we go to Pro-Life, who joins us now at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pro-Life.
Yeah, I think Dr. Crabb is wrong about that we're not going to continue to grow. We're going to slow down. What I think is that spiritually people are so disturbed about living in wicked areas that they're going to keep coming to Idaho, and that's and other places that they deem to be maybe spiritually better off than California, Oregon, Washington, places like that. So I don't think it's going to stop or slow down at all, and it will be a big problem, but we'll just have to handle it. Now, I have another comment, and I don't know the answer to this, and I don't know if I've been to Boise Rescue Mission, and I hear the music there, but I want to know about their nutrition program.
All
I don't
right,
know.
hang on. We won't cut you off. More with Pro Life next. KIDO Talk Radio.